Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. If you're watching this, Coach Leak has lost power and good chances are maybe you did too. Anyways, I want to take a second just to review the concepts from gel electrophoresis, the things we talked about last Thursday in our virtual lab, basically taking genetic material and separating it using electrical currents to differentiate between the different genetic components by size and electrical charge. So if you guys remember those bands, so you have the agarose gel, the kind of the square looking thing, you have a bunch of different little stripes on it. And what we do is we take that information to try to match a person's genetic material to someone else. Maybe you have like here's a normal band of what the FH1 gene looks like, and then I compare it to people in my family to figure out, do I have that gene or did I inherit it from my dad or so on and so forth. So we're gonna look at a new family. His name is Akai, and his family has some issues, and they want to have some questions talking about a genetic disorder. And what's gonna happen is you're going to review the concepts of cholesterol, LDL, HDL, things like that. And then we're gonna learn about a new genetic disease called familial hypocholesterolemia. Say that 5 times fast. And anyways, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get some results, some different bands, and you're going to get Akai's family and some information about them, and you're gonna put it together in a pedigree and try to determine where that disease came from for Akai, and does he have the opportunity to pass it along to his offspring. So if you could, direct your attention to the video you're gonna see right now.
Familial hypocholesterolemia. It obviously has some stuff to do with the heart and also cholesterol. So it is an autosomal dominant genetic disorder. Basically, it is on chromosomes 1 through 22, and it is a dominant trait, which means if you have at least one dominant allele, it's going to show up in your genes, okay? So there's a review of your HDL and LDL, what their functions are, so take a moment to look over those. Then genetic testing, this is a concept we are going to go over a little bit in more depth when we get to in-person, but for now I just want you to kind of review it. Go back to look at our mutations, figure out where some of this information comes from. And then that's a discussion about direct-to-consumer testing. You guys may have seen things like, man, I'm trying to think off the top of my head for whatever reason, I'm drawing a blank. There's a company out there, Cologuard, where you can take a stool sample and send it off to see if you have indicators for colon cancer. There's a lot of tests like this out there to see if you have certain genetic markers for different traits and stuff like that. It's becoming more and more popular, obviously, along with telehealth, okay? So ethical scenarios, I'm gonna leave this here for you guys to work on in your IMB. Gel electrophoresis, so here's what an actual electrophoresis image would look like when it is completed. So you got your normal bands right, your normal marker over here, and here's a bunch of different strands for different people or samples. So PCR is a process through which they separate those genetic, pretty much genetic samples into different strands. And so it goes through the process called restriction fragment length polymer resource. Man, that's a big, basically we're cutting the DNA into little bitty strips, and then we put it in the sample, and then we separate it even more using electrical current and size of the different strands, okay? So our new patient, Akai, he has a high genetic risk for familial hypocholesterolemia. Basically, he's at risk for increased cholesterol due to a certain genetic disorder or a protein disorder in his genes, okay? So we're gonna look at his family and try to figure out where did this gene come from, and does he have a possibility of passing on to offspring and stuff like that, okay? We may come back to this project later on once we are able to have help, but I want to at least show you the IMB slides, okay? So here's your ethical questions that are from the PowerPoint. A little information about FH, so I want you guys to do is research some background on what FH actually is, the familial hypocholesterolemia. And then here is a link to the actual results from Kai's family. I went and did them for y'all so you guys had them. What you want to do is you want to figure out the genotype of each individual. And so I have right here row C, or column C is going to be the double homozygous dominant gene, and then the B will be the homozygous recessive, and then you're going to use that to compare to the other family members, okay? And then off to the side, you guys, I left some squares and lines and circles for you guys to be able to do the pedigree. So you got to figure out the genotype of each individual and the phenotype of each individual. After that, if we can get at least that much done, we'll come back and we'll try to work on this project if we have time, okay?
Hope that all makes sense, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. When I do get power back, I'll answer them as fast as I possibly can. Other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, staying warm. I hope to see you guys soon. And as always, make good choices. Go Rangers.
I could lift you up. I could show you what you want to see and take you where you want